It has been a long tradition at colleges and universities that a senior speak on behalf of the graduating class. Representing the class of 2018 is Davonte Sanders-Funches. Speaking comes naturally to Davonte as a nationally recognized forensic competitor and this year's outstanding student in forensics. He has used his speaking talents to advocate for African American rights in our country, presenting on the subject in TEDx talks and the Rawl Symposium for Undergraduate Research here at North Central. A man of many interests and talents, he plans to pursue an MBA and a career in finance after graduation. Davonte.
Good morning, everyone. So today, I'm not going to spend my time talking about the potential we all have. I'm not going to talk about how the future is ours and we just have to go get it, nor using complicated metaphors to explain things like how the class of 2018 is the best class North Central College has ever experienced, you know, because it is, yeah, right? Those phrases are cliches no matter how true they are. Nah, I just want to tell you guys a short, simple story, and then after it's done, we could take our diploma cases in hand and walk out those doors and take all the pictures we want. Sounds good? Cool. So there I was in Chicago. I was waiting to take the train back to Naperville. You know, I was wearing a business formal suit, you know, because I had my job with Northwestern Mutual during the summer. And so I was sitting in the Chicago train station in the food court area, and there were many people passing me by. Side note, my mom told me when I was really young never to talk to strangers. So I'm sitting in the food court area, and I'm mean mugging hard as heck, or more properly known as having the face of RBF. So I'm sitting there trying to look menacing. My face kind of looks something like this. Right, and I was doing that, trying to look like somebody that nobody wants to approach. But after about 5 minutes, this older lady and her 9-year-old grandson sit at the table I'm sitting at, then ask me if they can sit down. I say, sure. Then a couple of minutes pass by and it's really quiet. And then Chief, Grandma's nickname for her grandson, starts getting hyperactive and saying things like, Grandma, can we go get some candy? Grandma, can we go get some pizza too? And Grandma, what about the keychains for Dad? And Grandma, she just smiles. She takes out a $20 bill and she gives it to Chief and tells him to go get it. And I tell y'all, Chief went and got it. He went into the store. He was making friends with the cashiers and talking to the people shopping in the stores and telling them about how great his dad was. And at this point, I'm petrified, y'all. Like, he was breaking this undisputable code of not talking to strangers. My mom would have been disappointed. However, Grandma had her eye on him. She was telling me about how they were coming from the South and they were going to visit her son in Colorado, Chief's dad. Now, Chief's dad was working at a job that had been displaced, so he wasn't able to be in Chief's life like he needed to be. But, you know, Chief didn't really care about that. He would talk about his dad all the time, saying all great things about him and how he couldn't wait to see him again. Then Grandma looked at me. She asked me about my life. And to be completely honest with you all, I'm still trying to mean mug her at this point. But after a couple of minutes of talking to this woman, I told her beyond surface level the things that I was going through in my life. You know, past heartbreak, feeling outcast, not knowing what I was going to do with my life. You know, the reason I shared these things with her was because she had this like raspy voice, but she always spoke with a tone of care, like a preacher. And she looked at me, she smiled, and she said one phrase that stood out among many. She told me, I'm sure you got this, baby. And y'all, the way she looked at me, it felt like she knew I was going to be something great, even if I didn't see it in myself. She believed in me. You know, it was strange because at this point in time, I felt like nobody else cared about me. But this woman, the affection came from a woman who I shouldn't have been talking to in the first place. A stranger in the train station. So then it's time for me to go. I get up, but I thank this woman for sitting down with me, for not only giving me confidence, but a sense of agency to continue. And then I tell her bye, and I catch my train. And that's the story. But you know, I want you all to take something greater away from this. Now, we all grow throughout life, its challenges and rewards, and we hope to be a better person than what we were before. Now, getting to this better version of ourselves, we need help. And most times, this help comes from parents, mentors, coaches, bosses, professors, wise strangers in train stations. The way that this help manifests is by these people helping us look over resumes and cover letters, or talking us down from extreme frustrations, or being there with us in our greatest moments. And the only thing they want is for us to be better individuals ourselves. That's what Grandma did for me. And looking back on this story, we need to pay it forward and do this for people like Chief, the next generations. Because one day we'll all be in Grandma's shoes, either raising children of our own, mentoring groups of people, or having chance encounters with strangers at train stations. Some of us have already started this process, and to that, I say thank you. Thank you for giving back what has already been given to you. All right, our responsibility has been, is, and always will be committing to this lifelong task of lifelong learning. So to Mom, Dad, my father, crazy uncles, my deacons, professors, NCC faculty and staff, those that have transformed me into the man standing before you today, I say thank you. You know, I can't thank you enough for the immeasurable impact you've had on my life. But this is a start, and it's a start for you guys as well. As lifelong learners, we're also commissioned to lifelong teaching in hopes of creating a better society that we all can live in. So to those who haven't begun, there has never been a better time to start with your cousins, nephews, nieces, students, and the list goes on. So now that my time is pretty much up, I can tell y'all that I low-key lied to y'all. I'm gonna talk about the cliches. Now, we all got potential, all right? The class of 2018, y'all already know this. We are the best class North Central College has ever experienced, hands down, and we all have the potential for the future. But we just gotta go get it. And when we do, make sure you show someone younger than you how to get it for themselves as well. Thank you.